What's up, everybody? This is Depop Ink Addict coming from the Always State 48. Want to go over the topic of lost identity. This goes out to my friend Jean, who has been very supportive through all this, and asked for her feedback on this as well. She had gone through a lot the last year plus. And I asked her what comes to mind when it comes to identity, identity loss, stuff like that, or lost identity. She told me, when I hear the words lost identity, I think of not knowing who you are anymore. Something that happened, like my case, for instance, when I lost my son, I didn't know who I was anymore. I lost everything, my love for music, singing, writing, drawing, talking to people. Felt like I didn't know how to do any of that anymore. I felt lost and didn't know how to get it back. And over the past year, that's been a big thing for me as well. That's been a big change in my life on a lot that I've done. This is out of a devotional as well that just kind of hit on this here, because right on here it talks about only humans can anticipate future events. This ability is a blessing, but it becomes a curse whenever it's misused. If you use your magnificent mind to worry about tomorrow, you cloak yourself in dark unbelief. Which, more of a truer statement. It says to, before you turn the light out, is another subject on here, is regain your strength by remembering who you are. Easier said than done, obviously. Now, for those that know me as well, 2 months ago I lost a very important person in my life that we knew each other for 20 some years. He saved my life. And all of a sudden, he was gone. And I was talking to one of my other docs, and I just had told her that, I didn't feel like I was the person that I used to be. Knowing what I was doing, what I was driving for, what I wanted to do, my strengths, even weaknesses that I've been working on. I told her that I literally said too that I feel like I'd lost my identity, that I just wasn't me anymore. And she, without even bringing any of that up, said that, she goes, from everything you told me, you're still grieving. And that was huge. Never thought of it that way. I've just been battling back and forth with who I was, but deep down I feel like, I still am that person. But the problem is that I couldn't essentially put two and two together. Mind, as I said, just clouded. And I know that with what I work with and what I try to do, that my mind, it's a blessing and a curse. You give me a project and I'll tear right at it. And a lot of it just comes down to the fact that it's like, just give me a shot, just give me a shot. That's all I ask for, to try and regain that back in me. And honestly, that's just not how life works. And the other reason why I'm shooting this now at this time is because I'm very drained. But what better time to? I try to rehearse so many of these and what I want to cover and all this and that. But I was talking to Gene. I mean, honestly, the best stuff comes from the heart, and a lot of it you just can't rehearse, and that's the way life is. One of my favorite verses is, leave tomorrow's troubles with tomorrow, for today will bring about its own. And I'm not saying that every day is going to be, horrible, or it's going to be, a huge trial. But let's face the facts that we as human, when you introduce a human element, you introduce air. And I try to explain that to people as well, that, one thing I've learned is that I try to look at things from a multitude of angles. And that's just also how my head works. But I just haven't felt like myself. And I keep going back and forth to, what am I doing wrong? All I kept doing was pointing fingers at myself. And there's always, obviously, room for improvement, but when you do that, you bring on that additional stress, that additional depression. And so many, obviously, if you watch these, goes back to depression. You fight, and when you start to not be able to understand why certain things happen, I am a big advocate and a big believer in, we're not meant to know. And those pieces that we don't know are also pieces that define us. They define who we are as we go on. It's like, I'm 35 years old, and this all happened in the last year. I've had to face trials and tribulations that I honestly just, in my life, never imagined. So much of my life has gone through as well that when I remember as a little kid, that's not going to happen. That couldn't happen. I had so much planned out, my life planned out. I thought, this is how things are going to go, or, I got my mindset. You got your mindset. You're ready to just, the 1-2 it, tear it apart, which is not a bad thing. But one thing my dad told me years back that I also love is, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans for tomorrow. Now, whether you believe or not, that's kind of mute, honestly. It just so much in the one-liners too, of when I made these changes that I did need, and this is just teaching me, and I gotta remember that it's just making something that it's gonna make me stronger, because I believe we are defined by our trials. We either let them run us into the ground, or we come out better and stronger. And as Gina mentioned in there, I can relate to so much of that. So many things that made me happy just didn't feel like it, because I kept feeling like there's more I need to be doing. There's things I need to keep doing. There's things that I need to make sure I get done first before I'm allowed to be happy and enjoy this kind of things in life. And it's not really the case. And it's a battle. It's a fight. And it's hell. And it's just something you have to expect, but you also have to accept. And as I am right now, I am still struggling with accepting it. That's just true. When you watch these other videos, I mean, there's one thing I want everybody to realize is that this is just straight from my heart and the truth. And I am struggling. But it's just one of those things that I don't want to let it rule my life. and the times and everything is, yeah, I'm scared shitless. I mean, for people that know me, I'm 6'7", shaved head, gauge ears, full of tattoos, and people just will make that certain assumptions to all these different things as well about me. But what I love is when I get to tell people this and that, and it knocks them off their guard. And so much like she stated about what she used to enjoy, she couldn't anymore. And that's something I'm still trying to retrain my brain on, recalibrate. That's another one that I've been thinking a lot about, a recalibration and everything like that there. So, you know, when you feel like you've lost your identity, who you really are, I think deep down, it's actually something that you are, you know, you're actually changing your identity. And that's not a bad thing. But only when you allow it to be a bad thing. And, you know, obviously giving up, that's it. I mean, you are the maker of your own destiny, from your own decisions, and that's a big thing I had to focus on, and I still am. I'm still fighting with it, but I can tell you this, I'm fighting with you as long as you are willing to, and it's just something you just got to keep at. And so, you know, with that, remember that this is something that I want to keep closing on, is that your past is only your past when you've done something to change it. Otherwise, it's just your present and it's your future. So when people tell me, well, that's in the past, is it really? So hopefully this, you know, will reach out and make some kind of, you know, maybe drive, maybe some kind of sense. But, you know, just remember with this, you know, when you don't feel like yourself and you feel like everything is colliding on you, that, you know, you really don't deserve the right to tell people that was just in the past if you just are still doing something, because that's bullshit. So anyways, with that, as usual, I love you all. God bless. And you know, as long as you don't give up, I won't either. So mad love, and again, let's try and get to these more, and love the feedback, questions, concerns, or anything like that. My life's an open book, and I'm just going to keep it that way. So, love you all. God bless, and I wish nothing but positivity and greatness for you and your future endeavors.